Hi. Okay, great. Awesome. I love the chat. That way I'm not just looking at my own self from my screen. Thank you so much for having me, Underbelly. This is super cool. I wish I was there in person. I love your great state, and next time. So I'm so excited to talk to you today a little bit about Chief Heart Officer and what I do, of course. And then talk to you about taglines and the voices in our heads, and how can we identify the voices in our heads and really identify, say hello to them, put them in the back seat so that we can be the best possible version of ourselves. So without further ado, I am going to start a little slideshow, and then please chat it up. I know we're going to do a little Q&A later on too. So here we go. Let's see. All right. All right. Cool. Chief Heart Officer at VaynerMedia. Whatever you believe, you prove. I always like to start every single presentation I do, any kind of keynote, any kind of talk actually, with this incredible quote from Maya Angelou. I'm sure you've seen it, you've heard it, maybe you've said it out loud, but of course, it's the last line that gets me every single time. And that is, I'll read the entire thing, but I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And it's the how you make someone feel that is the only thing that matters to me. That for me is the alpha and the omega. Every single day, we have the opportunity of leaving our thumbprint on someone. And to be really, really corny, we have our heart print on someone. And so something I want everyone to think about is, how do we make other people feel in our interactions? What did that thumbprint or heart print say to them? How did they feel after we had that encounter? So my mission as a Chief Heart Officer is to bring the heart and the humanity into the workplace and create brave spaces for people to belong and thrive in. I'm going to give a little bit of background into even how I got here. I've been at VaynerMedia for 7 years. Actually, last weekend was my Vaynerversary. And I've been a Chief Heart Officer now at Vayner for 5 years. I've had the really great privilege of having really the best title in showbiz. And you know, there's many Chief Heart Officers out there. I'm sure I'm talking to a lot of them right now. For me, I've always been this person. I have a great title, but I've always had this heart that wanted to help. I've always been kind of that player coach, you know, like put me in coach, and just really that mentor, that go-to person. I struggled in school quite a bit. The one thing that I knew that I was good at was friendships and tennis. And when these slides end, you'll see in the back of my office, I have some old school tennis rackets. I really, really leaned in on my superpower at a young age, thankfully to my Nana, who died at 101 years old, really helped me at a very young age understand that empathy and my intuition were my superpower. And it's something that I should not feel bad about. You know, I was told a lot of times as a young teen, you know, you think too much with your heart, Claude. When are you going to think with your head? And while people around me that said those things were trying to, of course, you know, almost protect me, I internalize it as like, oh my God, something's wrong with me. You know, I think too much with my head, think too much with my heart. Where's that missing chip? And fortunately, I had this wonderful role model in my life for a very, very long time, who really helped me see that who I am, being big-hearted, is actually a gift. And so I never, ever, ever, ever want anyone to feel like they don't belong. Inclusivity, holistic inclusivity, is incredibly important to me. And, you know, we spend so much time at work, as you all know. We're spending so much time on screen right now. My main mission is to create cultures of psychological safety where people just feel okay, they can breathe, they can let down their shoulders, and they can feel like they can bring their authentic self, their real self, their consistent self to work. That's really all I want to do. And I'm really, really lucky that I have a boss named Gary Vaynerchuk who believes in this mission as well. So the way I go about doing pretty much anything in my life, quite frankly, is with emotional intelligence. It's really, EQ over IQ. And that's not to say that IQ, cognitive intelligence, isn't important. It's totally important. It's totally important. But I think, we forget this this internal light that we have inside, that really kind of this guiding light, this guide that tells us kind of right from wrong. And so EQ over IQ is the way I go about everything I do. And certainly it's the way I teach and it's the way I lead. Self-awareness is key. Vulnerability, emotional courage, compassion, and kindness. Empathy is a real big buzzword right now. We're all hearing this word empathy. And I'm just going to stop for a second and say, when Gary and I sat down and we talked about me being the Chief Heart Officer, I said a couple things to him. I said, one, cool, yes, I want the job. Of course, this is who I am. What are we doing here? And he said, we are building the greatest human organization in the history of time. And I said, cool, aspirational, sign me up, I'm there. And then I said, how do we know if I'm successful, right? And he said the following, which continues to be the only job description I have. You will touch every single employee and infuse the agency with empathy. And so each and every day, I have the incredible honor of figuring out how I'm going to do that with almost 1,000 people. Now, of course, I don't touch 1,000 people every single day. At this point in the tenureship that I've had here, I have a great team that scales me. I've created and co-cultivated what I call culture champions that scale me. We have an incredible leadership team now that can scale me, that can scale our culture. But what I wanted to hone in on empathy for a second, because empathy is the feeling, but really compassion and kindness is how that comes across. And so that's why I just wanted to stop there for a second, because empathy is a really overused word and we all have different definitions. A lot of people say, it's like stepping into another person's shoes. For me, I say it's like holding space and riding shotgun with a person, riding alongside a person. But really, it's the compassion and the kindness is how that is shown in the world. Okay, anyway. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, sorry, everyone. Thanks, Ellie, for jumping in. Okay, cool. So, all right, every single thing I do is based around EQ over IQ. And again, that's not to say that IQ isn't important. It is. It's almost like taken for granted. Of course, you're going to have IQ, but I think EQ are skills that we all have, I believe, internally. Sometimes we just need the light to be turned on. We need someone to help us, coach us, whatnot. Self-awareness for me is the key tenet of EQ. In order to even embody all of these other skills or to even be able to touch them tangibly, you must have some kind of awareness of self. And with self-awareness, then you lean in on emotional courage, compassion, kindness, humility, intuition, gratitude, authenticity, connection, emotional regulation. That's such a big one. It's such a big one in life, in particular, but like in the workplace, like being mindful of your emotions and being mindful of kind of the gunk that can spread. Those are things that we need to really like be aware of. And what I was saying a second ago is empathy is such a buzzword right now. And by the way, it's a good buzzword. It's a really good buzzword. But the way I see empathy might be slightly different than other people that say, it's just like, being in someone else's shoes, stepping into their shoes. For me, I see it a little bit differently. I see it as riding alongside someone, not taking on their stuff as a sponge, because then you're really no help to someone. But riding alongside of them, providing them, holding space with them and providing them, with that validation. I got your back. You're good with me. I'm here for you. The output of empathy, the actions of empathy are kindness and compassion. All right, we're going to go to the next slide. Can everyone see this one? Heart-centered leadership. Cool. I'm going to take that as a yeah. So I wrote up this slide because I thought it'd be really, really handy to actually see what I'm talking about when I talk about heart-centered leadership or empathetic leadership. Now, I don't use the word servant leadership anymore, even though that's what I consider myself, for obvious reasons, just in terms of where we are in this day and time with everything that's going on. So I use heart-centered leadership or empathetic leadership. Again, humanity is our superpower. I've talked about this a little bit, leaning in on being real, being authentic. As leaders, we create psychological safety and eliminate fear. And I'm going to pause for 1 second on this piece. I was talking to a leader of a department the other day, and we were talking about an employee that is like through the roof, extremely, extremely good at his craft. But people are having a hard time working with him. And that's a problem. And I said to this leader of the department, let me just ask you, is he adding fear into the system or is he removing fear into the system? And it kind of stunned the department head there for a second. And he said, well, he's not removing fear. And I said, okay, cool. Then that's where we know the issue is. So just a little sidebar there. That's really how I look at things in terms of, are we eliminating fear from the system? Heart-centered leaders have abundant and positive thinking and then executing on that. We inspire change. We're high touch. We're 24/7, 365, empathy, compassion, EQ, everything I just spoke about. We seize disruption, hardship, challenges as moments of transformation. And of course, as we entered, 13 months into, we entered into the pandemic last year, all of us, every single person, there was no handbook of how did IBM do this in 1979? How did Xerox do this in 1980? Like, we all had to figure it out together. And I believe that leaders are those people that can really see the disruption. Yes, we're all in survival mode, we're in triage, but they have a vision of how we're going to get out of it and how we're going to emerge stronger. We're guided by kindness and candor. We show a generosity of spirit. It's a big one. We're the calm in someone's storm. We hold space for people and leave judgment at the door. We use our voices to speak the truth, and we empower other people to do that by example, by, again, saying, I got your back, go for it, fall forward, fail forward. And of course, we are the Sherpas and we are the coaches and guides for other people. And a real big tenet of my leadership philosophy is that as leaders, we are here to turn other people into heroes. We are here to turn other people into champions. It's not about me. It's never about me. It's about you. When someone comes up on the screen and I'm doing a one-on-one or I'm even doing a jam session with many people, all I want to know is how can I provide value and how can I provide you with something practical, something to take away, rather than always just being philosophical. What can I give you that's tangible that you can go take to your team right now? So, human truths, pretty obvious. We're not perfect. We have voices. We are all unique. We are not perfect. Don't be afraid to fail. And if you're going to fail, you might as well fail big. Go big. It is how we grow. It is how we learn. So I'm sure that so many people right there on screen right now can say, yes, I learn when I'm in the valley. It hurts like heck. Your knees are scraped. You've fallen on your butt 8,000 times. It's like when you learn how to snowboard, right? You just fall on your butt constantly. And then one day you get it. We are voices. Every single person's voice is valuable. Sing loud, sing proud, encourage other people to use their voices. And we're unique. You might like goth music, you might like K-pop, you might like classical Vivaldi, Brahms, it doesn't matter, just be yourself. And this is what I really want to encourage everyone to do, which is bring your authentic self to work consistently. There's no need to hide it. If you feel safe, there's no need to hide it. And really, the world needs all of us to step forward now, not yesterday, right now, right now. Okay, so research does show that people can catch emotion and feeling from other people. This is actually true. And if you think about it, it makes sense. It's almost like, you know how a yawn is contagious? If you're sitting around a posse of people and they all like, I'm gonna raise my hand. Back in the day when I was really working in advertising, you know, we'd sit in that conference room, we'd listen to a client on the bat phone, and the client would say something silly or ask for a ridiculous request or something way out of scope. And someone in the room, maybe it was even me, would roll our eyes, you know, put them on mute and just be like, you've got to be kidding. Becky said that again. And the thing is, we have so much influence as a human. And the way, sitting around that conference room, the way, if say that was me that rolled my eyes or said, I can't believe Becky said that again, other people are going to look at me and be like, oh, I guess Becky's a dummy. You know, Becky's a dodo. And so my ask here is, because we are catching emotion and feeling from other people, and we have so much influence as a human being, why not see people as like the miraculous, imperfectly perfect people we are, you know, as these work in progress? Because the way we see people is the way we are going to treat them. It's a bias, unconscious or not. And the way we treat people is actually what they become. And so my ask for everyone is that we do our best to see people in the most positive light that we possibly can. Okay, let's talk about attention and generosity. Is one of my favorite things to talk about. I look at attention as like the grandchild to generosity. Attention unlocks serotonin. It's the hormone in our brain that gives us that feeling of well-being and happiness, of like calm confidence. Chocolate gives it to us as well. And think about when someone gives you attention, you feel good. You feel noticed. You feel recognized. You might even like feel a little bit flush. It's a great feeling. Like, think about the last time someone gave you attention. Generosity promotes oxytocin. Again, I think this is kind of the grander hormone here, which is, you know, it promotes the feeling of love. In fact, the hormone is called the love hormone. It promotes bonding, well-being. You get it from holding infants and little kids. You get it from little puppy dogs. You know, there's places now when you're working on your mental health and emotional health that you can go and, you know, you can pet puppy dogs to feel. And so think about the last time you exhibited generosity of spirit to someone, or someone gave that to you. And these are things I talk about in the workplace because I think that it's so easy to just kind of like skate over this thing, skate over the being conscious of how we are leading other people, how other people are leading us. Back to the Maya Angelou quote, right? So it has been quite the year. I saw this post on Instagram, the show will go on, I think in April of 2020, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. That's really kind of like emotionally optimistic. The show will go on. We will rise again. And I like this quote by Darwin, which says, it's not the strongest of species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but it is the one most responsive to change. And I think that goes back to the growth mindset that I talked about on the EQ over IQ slide that you can see over there, small. Being willing to be fluid, not being stuck, not boxing yourself in and boxing other people in. Unfortunately, at some point in our life, we'll take our last breath and we will end up in a box. There's no need to end up in a box right now. There's no need to put ourselves in a box right now. So now we're getting to the crux of this presentation. Whatever you believe, you will prove. So I just want to put this stat out here for a second. 85% of our inner dialogue is all negative. Blah, 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 limiting belief, limiting belief, limiting belief, limiting belief. And 95% of that is all on repeat. I'm not smart, I'm not smart, I'm not smart, I'm not smart. I must have said that to myself until I was 32 years old. It was an absolute waste of time, maybe even 35. So if we are not currently and consciously changing the dialogue in our head, in our inner voice, it's like literally just taking up space. It's literally just driving your car in reverse. You're not doing anything to help yourself live into your total fulfillment. You're not doing anything at all to change the story in your head. And that's what we're about to do. We're going to do a fun exercise on that. So the last slide here, I'll leave you with a quote from Tim Cook that I like quite a bit. Measure your impact in humanity, not in the likes, but in the lives you touch. Not in popularity, but in the people you serve. Stay focused on what really matters. People will try to convince you that you should keep your empathy out of your career. Don't accept this false premise. All right. Thank you for your time with the slides. Okay. So we are going to go to work on some taglines here. And Ellie, is there something I can click to see your face or to see any volunteer's face as we go into this next session? Cool.
Yes.
Hi. Hello. Hi.
Hello. If you want to have volunteers, they can request to be in, like I am right now, and I can let them in for you. So how many volunteers would you like?
Let's go 3. Let's go 3, and then I'll explain what we're doing.
If anyone would like to volunteer to hop on screen like this with Claude, and she's going to help you come up with your tagline, you can request to share your video and your audio.
Cool.
Any volunteers?
Yeah. And if no, you want to start together?
We've got Haley. I know
great.
Haley. I used to work with Haley at Thumbtack, so I'm going to let Haley in.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for volunteering, Haley.
Yes, Haley.
Hey guys.
Hi, Haley.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
Great.
Okay.
I think I sound like a robot.
Okay. All right. Haley, you ready to roll?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. All right. So what I would like you to do is think about that voice in your head, the negative voice in your head. What is it saying about anything in your life? It could be, I can't manage my time. I can't prioritize my kids and work. Something around, it could be anything. I don't work out enough. Think about like a tagline, and I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give everyone an example of what one of my taglines was. One of my negative taglines, and then I'm going to show you when you have yours what my positive one is, just so we can get an example. So I'm writing a book. That is true. And I talked to my book coach a couple, 4 months ago or so. And this is what came out of my head. I have nothing new to say. I have nothing new to say. And that was my tagline. And by the way, that's what I was saying over and over and over. And I was not getting up and writing. I wasn't doing my homework. Like a publisher asked me to write the book. I mean, that'd be exciting, right? And I just sat there and I was like, I have nothing new to say. So that is the example of a tagline that I'm talking about. It's something that you can own. Anything that comes to mind, I'm just going to take notes here. And then once you come up with one, or if Ellie, you want to think about one too, or whomever else wants to, now you know what I'm talking about. We're going to take that and we're going to transform your tagline. And if it would help me, if it would help the crowd or you, Haley, know what I transform that into, now I can tell you, or I can wait. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm happy to do that.
I can throw out the automatic one that comes up to mind. The one that I think of, it applies to me. I'm going through an MBA program. I'm a full-time employee, and I'm a mother and a wife. And in all of those situations that I find myself in that represent my identity, I constantly tell myself, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough at my job. I'm not good enough at my MBA. I'm not good enough as a mother, and I'm not good enough as a wife. So I do use that one probably the most on repeat. It's pretty generic, but it covers so much.
Yeah. Okay. I want to, it's a good one. It's a doozy. And I want to get a little bit more specific to you. So I have an idea. And again, I'm not here to put words in your mouth at all. So see if this fits. Is there something around juggling, we could say? And juggling might not be the right word, but you know what I'm saying. Is there something around, I've got too much going on.
I'm spread too thin.
I'm spread too thin. Okay. I'm spread too thin. Is it I'm spread too thin and can't get to everything I want to get to or everything I need to get to? What is it, a want or a need?
I think it's both because I constantly deprioritize a lot of the wants to try and fill in.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Things I want and need to. Okay, all right, so what I have here is I'm spread too thin and can't get to all of the things I want and need to. And that's basically something that you're saying on repeat over and over and over, I would imagine, yeah. Okay. So what we want to do, now I'm going to tell you where I went with my tagline. And you'll see the transformation. So I have nothing new to say. That was me. And then when I worked with my coach, I got to, I'm a thought leader. I'm a thought leader in the heart leadership space. Okay. Didn't light me up though. Like didn't bring a big smile on my face. I'm going to write a great book on thought leadership, on heart leadership. Cool. Great. Who else is doing it? Tons of people. And I did one other one that was just like, okay, sure, cool, great, but didn't light me up. And all of a sudden, I don't know where it came from, but I really shot for the moon. And that's the deal here. I said, I'm a freaking New York Times #1 bestseller. And like, look at the smile on my face, still. So every time I get up to write, that's what I think of. And I have it right here on my screen. I'm a New York Times #1 bestseller because that is what motivates me. Not all the other nonsense everyone else is doing it. That's fantastic. Great, 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 great. No, who's Claude? That's who I am. So that's the trajectory that I'm talking about here. So, and that's like where I want to get to with a new tagline for you, which is something that's going to really make you feel good. So like, and I got to work with you here because I'm not in your brain, okay? And anyone else that wants to do it next, like start thinking about, the Debbie Downer inside your brain that's taking you down real fast. I'm spread too thin and can't get to all of the things I want and need to do. So the immediate place I go to is something like, I'm a badass capable of juggling many priorities at once. Something like that. It's not, I don't think it's perfect yet. But what do you even think about where we are with that?
No, I'm loving that already. I'm a badass capable of
juggling
many things at once. I'm liking that. I'm trying to think because I also feel like there's an element of trying to word this. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like I am giving my attention fully to this thing at this moment. Like, does that make sense? There's that aspect of commitment as well.
Is that a good thing? When you say commitment, is that a good thing? Or is that the negative voice or the positive voice?
That's a good call out, because it does go both ways, because there is sometimes a level of guilt that comes with that, the negative guilt of commitment. I get where you're coming from on that.
Yeah, the word commitment, I don't think it's totally positive. But let me ask you, just to dig in 1 second, is what you're trying to say like, do you like the juggling part?
It feels like, to me, when I vision juggling, I'm going to drop something. And
Okay.
so I get worried that even with that juggling, I'm like just waiting for something to fall.
Okay, great. That's perfect. Okay. So I'm a badass capable of, I mean, look, this is a far reach, the one I'm about to say. This is a far reach. I'm a badass who's present in the moment.
Love that.
Okay.
I love that, because it's something that I don't feel like I'm really good at, but by turning it into my tagline and thinking that I can embody that and become present in the moment and focus on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a New York Times #1 bestseller right now, but that's where I'm going to be.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, I'm a badass that is present in the, I think this is phenomenal. I don't know if you can see it, but you can write it down on your screen. All right? Keep it there and keep me posted on how that goes. All right, Haley, thank you so much. I'm just going to write.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you. That was really brave of you, too.
Thank
All right,
you.
step right up. Who's next? Hayley. All right, let's see. We probably have time for one more. We go until 2, Ellie, is that right? Ish?
Ellie, you're still muted, but I think we go till 2:15.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ellie, you want to go? Ryan, do you want to go? Anyone want to go?
Hi.
Hey, Drew, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks. Nice to meet you.
You as well.
What you got?
So it feels weird to say, but the negative thoughts that I struggle with a lot are related to my weight loss journey, that it's not going to happen, that I've failed before, so why will I succeed? Things relating to that.
Okay, thank you for sharing. So let's get the negative tagline. Let's get clear on that. Is it something around why bother?
Yeah, essentially.
I mean,
like, why keep trying if I'm going to keep failing?
Okay, yeah, okay, fine. Around, so we'll use the word, weight loss or fitness in there.
Okay.
Whichever one works. Do you want to do something like, why keep trying? Do you want to say it's no use? Tell me what that actually is saying. Like, what is that actually saying in your brain? Remember, I was like, I have nothing new to say. I was very clear. I have nothing new to say.
Yeah. Okay. It feels useless to keep trying new things.
Okay. It feels useless to keep trying new things to lose weight. Can I say that?
Yeah.
To lose. It feels useless to keep trying new things to lose weight. Okay. So we want to change the story that you tell yourself. And I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
Have you had success in this area?
Yeah. Varying points of success, but they always stop.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay, but you have had, and what has that success felt like? If you can go back and like internalize and tell me what that success has looked like.
It feels encouraging. It feels hopeful. Those are the ones that stand out.
And what do you think is getting in your way of?
Yeah, I think when I start to plateau or it starts to get harder, then I lose confidence in myself.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we want to put. I'm not looking at you. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We want to give you a new tagline that reinforces your best possible future self.
Right.
Right. I am a New York Times #1 bestseller. I don't mean to keep saying it, but that's yeah. That is enforcing who I'm going to be, the best possible future self of Claude Silver when it comes to book writing. I want to use I'm going to give you an example of one other tagline that I did, one other exercise as I'm thinking about flipping your switch. I was super, my calendar can get super, super hairy and scary, just like anyone else's, but mine can get just like super scary. And I recognized that at the end of the day, I looked at my calendar and I'm like, gosh, I said yes to like 2 hours of things that I just shouldn't have said yes to. And so my negative thought was like, why do Claude, why do you get yourself in this position? You always feel stressed. You never feel like you have enough time in the day. And like, you don't want to let anyone down. And so I was like, I was like, you don't want to let anyone down, which isn't a great feeling. And I got to this place where I said, this is a big one. I said, and again, I had to work on it. I get paid to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. And it was a real big, it's a pendulum swing, a real big. So I get paid to know what to say yes and no to is an empowering statement. That's where we want to go with this. We want to get to something that feels empowering and doable and tangible. I'm really thinking here. Is anything coming to mind in terms of what I want to think about? I want to think about a body of evidence that you have from the past where you have been successful.
Yeah, some things that come to my mind are maybe things like I am strong enough to persevere when things get hard or slow. Maybe something along those lines.
Okay, I want to take away the enough.
Okay.
Because I am strong enough means that I'm strong enough.
Yeah.
Not strong.
Okay.
Let's go back to I'm a badass that is present in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I am it's actually something. I wonder if it's something like this, like it's something like I am stronger than those gremlins in my mind that tell me I can't do it. Something like that.
Yeah.
I am stronger than. I am stronger.
Maybe I'm stronger than I think I am. Something along those lines.
The think I am is a little bit of doubt, though.
Yeah.
So, I want to work on this a little bit more, but it's literally, I am stronger than this story I'm telling myself. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Oh, or I am stronger than my best excuse. That's a great one, Haley.
Thank you. That really is I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's write that down. Thank you, Haley. I'm stronger than my best excuse. All right. You got to write that down and put that like literally where I have mine right here. So I see it every day, even when I go into that like self-hate mode, which we
Yeah.
all get into. It's like, oh no, I get paid to do this.
Cool. I really like that.
All right, are you writing it down?
It's in the chat, so I'm going to copy it
Okay.
after. Yeah.
Okay. Then my best. All right, cool. Drew, thank you so much. And thanks
Yeah,
for
thank
being
you.
so courageous and stepping up.
I appreciate it.
Really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Anyone else want to go? Or any questions I can ask? I'm just going to turn this light off. Any questions that come up that I can answer about anything I talked about? I know I went pretty quickly through some of my POV. Hey, Davidson.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Cool. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am doing great, thanks.
I'm right in the middle of my lunch break, so hopefully this doesn't get too long. But yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Tell me your negative thoughts or your voice.
Okay. Something I've been telling myself lately is that like I am here. It's kind of along the lines of like not good enough, but I'm currently trying to do a little bit of a career switch. Right now I'm doing civil engineering and I'm trying to get into UX design, but I've been having a lot of difficulty with the like interviewing phase and just job hunting. It's really discouraging, and I keep telling myself like I'm not a top prospect, I'm not worth hiring, and people don't want me at their company because of like past experiences I've had with other companies, or just in general, like it's hard for me to really believe that I have something really valuable to add that's like desirable.
Great. I mean, not great, but great. I think that's clear. Okay, the things I have here are I'm not worth hiring, I think is a real big one. That's a juicy one. I don't have anything to add to a company, or I don't have anything to add. You know, those two things I think were really good. I think, which one do you like? The I'm not worth hiring, or I don't have anything to bring to a company? Something
I think the not worth hiring one is the one that I tell myself the most, and
Yeah.
it's like probably the most discouraging.
Yeah, that's not nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, similar to what we talked about with Drew, where and what is that body of evidence that you have built that says you actually are worth hiring? That actually says you have something to add, whether or not that's creatively, energetically, whatever. Like where's the body of evidence that shows actually I got this?
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Did Claude freeze? Did I freeze? Okay. Let's see. Body of evidence. Well, I am hired right now, and I'm a valuable part of the team that I'm working on. Of course, it's in a different field, and it's not something that I want to keep doing for long term. What else?
Talk to me about what you bring to a company, what you bring to a team, what you bring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are to go back to the terminology badass? Like, why are you badass? Why are you a rock star?
Mm. That's a hard one too.
One more time.
That's a hard one to answer as well.
Yeah, it's hard.
I can't say I have a lot of like you said, 80% of our inner dialogue is negative. I think I really play into that one a lot.
Yeah.
Something that I definitely do value and something that I do add is like, I think I'm good at understanding other people.
Okay.
So the empathy part, and I also think like, at least for me, I'm a really good observer, so I'm good at noticing when people are feeling down or when people are not necessarily like feeling the best. I think I'm very quick to be the person to reach out or to comfort. And also creatively, I would say a pretty, like, I guess my engineering mind changed this, but I have a very quick mind when it comes to like, how can I make this better? How can I improve this? How can we make this faster? So we don't waste as much time, etc. Like those are the things I'm always thinking about in my day to day.
Do you think that last part, how quick you are, is that intuition? Is that intuition that you think you rely on there to be able to spot something, among many other things? But is that an intuitive quality, or did you have to study too?
I would say it's an intuitive thing, something that I always think about, like innately. Like whenever I'm asked to do something, like, okay, how can I do this the best way possible? Or like when I was a kid, it was like, oh, how can I make my chores as short as possible? How can I like make this better for everybody so that we can all be happy and get it done with?
Are you good at like hacking? Would you say would you call it hacking or?
Yeah, I guess you could say hacking. Not like a hacker, but
No.
yeah.
No. Okay. So you have some superpowers here. We're going to use the word superpower or superpowers. So I'm not worth hiring. Blah 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 blah. And then I want to think about. I mean, bear with me here, okay?
Yeah, of course.
Because I don't know you, but let's just take this. My intuitive hacking skills are my superpower, like something like that around those things. I know you said empathy, something around that. So what I'm doing is we're going into such a different arena.
Right.
Again, the book thing. That was like an enormous leap. But it was such an enormous leap that so like I want to focus on and capitalize on like something that you're just great at and it makes you happy. Like it brings you joy, it lights you up. Like is the fact that you are really quick to spot how things can get, to bring efficiency. Is that like something amazing, or what? You've got a lot going on here, like a lot of good. You're smiling now. So I'm like, let's capture what this is. Like, I mean, I almost want to be like, something about like, deep, you've got like some deep wisdom here that like came out after 5 minutes of like, you went there. All right, some people are saying strategic efficiency. My superpower is strategic efficiency. Do you like the superpower part?
I'm okay with it.
All right, we're okay for now. Let's think.
Yeah.
Maybe get something else.
I think it's good enough to keep for now. I don't want to keep. Yeah, that part works with me. It works.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had a thesaurus up, but I don't.
Right.
Okay. All right. Wait. I like the word ignited also. Like or ignite. I am not worth hiring.
Maybe like positive action. That's very broad.
Well, so I'm not worth hiring is here. What we want to go to is all of this stuff is needed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a closed door, and then we're going to go to like, no, these skills are needed.
Mm.
So, but we got to get the skills.
Yes.
Advantage is okay. It requires you to do what might not come naturally to you, which is almost like boast a little bit. But it's just us here. So I'd rather see you big than not big.
Of course, yeah, me too.
It seems like I ignite any team up with empathetic efficiency. That's not even a thing, but
I kind of get what you're going with. You're kind of trying to bring these skills into like a package where it's like, this is what I bring, because that's what's I need to do.
We need to give you a new tag. You need to change that story in your head.
Right.
You need to change that story in your head so that you feel strong and so that you feel like you can thrive in this space. I'm gonna be thinking about this for a bit.
Okay.
I don't have it yet, and I think you and I both need to really think about the verb. It's almost like the verbs, because I know where we want to get to. Like, it's like you light up any team you're involved in. You in effect, like, you make it rain, like David's.
Right.
Because you make it rain. Well, of course I'm hireable. My energy. I gotta think about it. Anyone else has some ideas? I don't want to fail you here.
No, I don't feel failed at all. Making it rain actually sounds very, I don't know, it kind of makes me like smile for sure.
All right. At least we can capitalize on your last name too. Yeah. It's something makes it rain. My make it rain. Because my and only you know what that is. Is it your empathy, intuition? Is it your cleverness? Is it your brilliance? Is it your wisdom? Is it your EQ? Do you light up every room you go into?
I try to. Sometimes it's tough.
I mean, really, it's your blank is needed.
Am I not giving you enough? Am I not like? It's very complex, and we are still barely acquainted, so it's kind of hard for you to just.
Yeah, we're not really acquainted. Yeah.
Right.
My mind and all of its facets make it rain. I like that a lot. I mean, my heart and mind make it rain. Let's keep going on it, and then I think we should go offline and talk about it.
Sure. Yeah.
Without saying exactly what makes him amazing, thinking about all David things. Oh, that's so nice.
I do love the Beatles.
So. Oh, that's so nice. Gosh, Here Comes the Sun is pretty awesome. I like Here Comes the Sun a lot,
I
Ryan.
like that too, actually.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. I mean, that makes me smile.
Mm.
All right, Here Comes the Sun. Boom. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for participating. And Ryan, that was killer. And David, thank you so much for stepping up. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Here Comes the Sun. All right. Thank you so very, very much for doing that. That was awesome.
Thank you, Claude. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was good.
Yes.
It takes a little bit of like expanding what's possible, what you know, like you know it inside. You know it inside. You just like we think it's easier just to kind of give up on ourselves like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here Comes the Sun gave me chills.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That was awesome.
Yeah. All right.